Hello, my name is Dustin Anderson. I'd like to thank you for coming tonight to my talk about high ankle sprains. I know fall sports are starting to kick off again, and hopefully you'll find this information easy to understand and digest, and hopefully it'll help you if your son or daughter has an injury while playing in sports. So what a high ankle sprain is basically it's an injury to this part of the leg. All right, so I know we've talked a little bit before about lateral ankle sprains and fractures, but when we really think about high ankle sprains, we're thinking about an injury right up in this area right here, where these two bones come down, sort of make that ankle joint that we're talking about. And you remember me talking about that little bone that sort of sets in there? Well, all those are going to play into how you get hurt. All right. So some things about high ankle sprains. They usually take about twice as long to get over as the traditional I stepped in a hole and I rolled my ankle type of sprain. Usually when you get a high ankle sprain, your son, daughter, or athlete is going to come and tell you, like, my foot was planted, so like my foot was stationary, and I got hit one way or the other. They may or may not feel a pop, depending how bad it is. But that's going to be a little bit different. You remember from that traditional ankle sprain where they say they stepped in a hole or they rolled it. This is going to be more of a stationary injury, where their foot stays stationary, is planted, and there's going to be some type of movement to this one side or the other. With that, what you really want to do, as far as if there's no healthcare provider around to look at it, there's some special tests that you can do, and I'll show you what those are. You can just have them sit down on a bench or a chair. You can have them cross their leg, and you can push down. All right. And if there's pain, again, right here in this area, it might be a high ankle sprain. Another thing that you can do is just squeeze. All right. Just take both hands on each side and compress. What I usually like to do is ask them, does it hurt when I push in or when I let go? It's been my experience if it hurts when I push in, it might be more of a bone issue as opposed to that tissue that's involved with a high ankle sprain. Now, if they say it hurts when I push and I let go, especially with that rebound and that let go, it lets me think that it's probably a high ankle sprain. And the best way I can describe what gets injured with a high ankle sprain is if you've ever ate a wing, and you've got like the skin off and the meat off, and you sort of look at that bone, and that like looks like a membrane, or looks like a piece of very clear paper that sits between the two bones in the wing. That's sort of what gets injured with a high ankle sprain. Like I said, it usually takes about twice as long to get over. And some things that you want to do that has sort of been shown to be the best clinical practice is immobilize it. So don't let them move it too much for 0 to 3 days. If you have like an old set of crutches or some type of way to brace the foot, that would be great. If you don't have any of that, you can take them to urgent care if you need to get anything like that. But you really want to protect it for that first 3 days, because one of the unique things about a high ankle sprain is you're always moving your ankle, so you're always getting a little bit of stress, like I said, placed on that tissue that gets hurt, sort of between those two bones. And you want to protect it so it doesn't get hurt again. After that, you can progress to range of motion, having them move their foot up and down. If they're still having pain with walking, I would keep them on the crutches for about 10 days. After 10 days, if they're walking fine and not having too much pain, you can stop using the crutches. After that, if you don't have access to like a physical therapist or an athletic trainer, you can have them just start doing basic calf raises, where they're just going to stand and they're going to come up on their toes. All right. You can have them go against the wall and just push like the outside of that foot against the wall. So if you can't see it in the back, I like to say this is the wall. I'm going to put my foot right here, and I'm going to have them push out. then say, this is the wall, I'm gonna have them push in, all right? Then you'll just have them do like a single leg balance where they just stand there on the leg that's hurt and hold it for about 30 seconds. And you know, what I would say the take home is, you got to protect this injury a little bit more than a lateral ankle sprain, just because it's been shown to take about 2 times as longer to heal as a lateral ankle sprain. I've got a couple minutes left, so I'll open it up for questions. All right, well, that was a good question. How do you know if it's broke, or what's a good way to tell if it's broke as opposed to some type of a sprain? You remember talking a couple weeks ago about the Ottawa ankle rules? So remember the take home from that one was, if they can walk more than 5 steps, it's probably not broke. I will say with a high ankle sprain, there might be a little bit more swelling and a little bit more loss of movement. So I wouldn't jump to the gun to take them to the hospital right away to get an x-ray. I would give it a good 72 hours or 3 days of, you know, you're taking them off of it and you're making an ice bucket. Remember we talked about that, where you just get a trash can, you fill it full of water, you fill it full of ice, you have them put their ankle in it for 20-25 minutes. I would start with that before I would take them to the hospital. Now, with that being said, if you take them home, or if they're still at the field for about 2 hours and their leg's getting bigger, so it's swelling a little bit more, and they can't walk, I would go ahead and take them to the hospital for that one. And looks like my time's about up. Again, I thank you for your time. I hope it's been beneficial, and I thank the school district for letting me come in and talk to the parents.